GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good night, Montreal.
5 officers have been suspended pending the outcome of a disciplinary hearing that revisits a 2018 high-speed pursuit on the island. The Sûreté du Québec identified 3 provincial officers, and the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal named 2 city officers as responsible for actions that culminated in a serious injury to a Montreal woman. The pursuit, which involved reckless driving through residential streets, ended when the suspect's vehicle collided with the victim's car, leaving her with critical injuries. The Quebec Police Disciplinary Tribunal announced the suspensions this week, citing breaches of pursuit protocol and failure to safeguard public safety. The officers remain off duty while the tribunal reviews the case, and the investigation continues to determine whether further sanctions are warranted. The decision arrives amid ongoing public debate over police chase policies across the province.
The Quebec Administrative Tribunal has ordered Collège Supérieur de Montréal and Collège Supérieur de Sherbrooke to resume classes immediately, overturning the province's refusal to renew their operating permits. Both institutions had been barred earlier this year after the government declined permit renewals, prompting the colleges to appeal. The tribunal's ruling, issued today, restores the right of 2 private schools to continue teaching activities in Montreal and Sherbrooke, while the decision remains in effect. Officials said the order reflects the tribunal's authority to review administrative actions and ensures students can return to their studies without further delay. The colleges plan to reopen classrooms within days, and staff are preparing to welcome students. The tribunal, known as TAQ, said its intervention is part of an ongoing review of permit process, and it will monitor compliance as the schools restart operations. Parents and faculty have been notified, and Education Ministry will consider steps.
New Democratic Party leader Avi Lewis has signed up for an intensive French immersion program this summer, hoping to sharpen his language skills before the party rolls out a targeted campaign in the island's ridings. Lewis, who has led the federal NDP from an English language base, will spend several weeks in a language center in the city, working with native speakers and practicing political terminology. Party officials say the move is intended to help him connect directly with French-speaking voters and to bolster local candidates as a number of seats become vacant ahead of the next federal election. The immersion schedule includes daily classroom sessions, conversation workshops, and field trips to neighborhoods such as the Plateau and Mile End, where the party hopes to build a stronger foothold. Lewis emphasized that speaking French is essential to the NDP's strategy in Quebec's challenging electoral environment.
City engineers are working on the Atwater Aqueduct, repairing 2 of the 4 critical sections that deliver drinking water to roughly 1.3 million residents. The work, which began this morning, is expected to continue through the week as crews replace aging pipe and reinforce joints. Officials warn that the system's daily capacity tops out at about 1.45 billion liters, and they are asking households to curb non-essential use until all sections are back online. The city's water conservation advisory asks for shorter showers, delayed laundry cycles, and turning off taps while brushing teeth. The goal is to keep total consumption beneath the threshold and avoid service interruptions. Residents with questions can check the city's online portal for real-time updates on the repair schedule. City officials will review progress each evening and adjust advisories as needed.
The Municipal Housing Office said the vacant low-cost seniors building and park extension will be torn down and rebuilt rather than repaired. Officials explained that repair work forced the senior tenants out almost 4 years ago and that the structure is now considered unsuitable for renovation. The decision, announced this week, sets a demolition schedule for later this summer, with construction of a new affordable block slated to follow. The 8-story complex, built in the early 2000s, will be removed at a cost covered by the city's housing budget. City planners say the new development will meet modern accessibility standards and restore much-needed housing stock in the densely populated neighborhood. Residents who have watched the empty block deteriorate hope the replacement will address the chronic shortage of senior accommodation in the area. The housing office will begin site preparation in the coming weeks, pending final permits.
Will see Prime Video bring Canadians games to your screens on Wednesdays, plus top stories continue after the break. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. Now let's turn to Rachel for the latest local stories you need to know.
Prime Video is set to begin streaming Montreal Canadiens matchups on Wednesdays across Canada starting July 29th. The service will carry 7 regular season games, giving fans a new digital outlet alongside traditional broadcasters. Amazon's streaming arm secured the partnership after the NHL announced it as the league's latest Canadian partner for select games. For viewers, the shift means they can watch the Canadiens from any device that supports Prime Video without needing a cable subscription. The schedule will run on a weekly basis, with each Wednesday featuring a different Canadiens contest throughout the remainder of the season. This edition expands the league's online footprint and offers a convenient option for those who prefer streaming over conventional TV. Subscribers in Quebec will find the service integrated into their Prime membership, eliminating extra fees. The move also aligns with the league's push to reach younger audiences who favor on-demand content.
City officials have opened a citywide survey today to capture how downtown Montreal construction is affecting everyday life. The Office of Public Consultation, led by Philippe Burke, is inviting residents to share experiences with noise, traffic snarls, and sidewalk closures that have become commonplace as new projects multiply. The questionnaire, available online and at several community centers, asks for input on safety, commute times, and the overall impact on neighborhoods. By gathering this feedback, the city hopes to fine-tune its response and prioritize mitigation measures where they matter most. Officials stress the survey will run for several weeks, giving anyone who's been stuck in a delayed bus or disrupted by dust an opportunity to be heard. Your responses will help shape how the downtown Montreal core evolves while keeping residents' daily routines in mind.
Construction on the first phase of a 30-story, 325-unit housing project near the new Panama REM station in Brossard has been halted. The city of Brossard announced that the provincial pension fund manager has suspended its investment, citing a wait for more favorable market conditions. The development, approved in November, was slated to begin later this year. With the funding pause, work on the tower and associated units is now on hold, delaying the anticipated addition of housing near the transit hub. The 30-story tower was designed to contain a mix of rental and ownership units. City planners had projected the development would add to the local housing supply and align with transit-oriented growth goals. City officials said the suspension leaves the project without the capital needed to move forward, leaving the timeline unresolved.
Mayor of Laval is pressing provincial and municipal officials to approve a further stretch of Montreal's Orange Metro line beyond its current terminus in the city. The mayor argues that extending the line deeper into Laval would deliver a service 10 times more efficient than the province's third major rail link, positioning the project as a high-impact solution for commuters. He says the added stations would cut travel times, ease congestion on busy roadways, and support growing residential neighborhoods. The push comes as the existing Orange Line already ends at the northern edge of Laval, leaving many riders to rely on buses for the final leg of their trips. Officials are being asked to review the proposal quickly, with the mayor emphasizing the economic and environmental benefits of a faster, more connected transit network for the region.
The Provincial Health Ministry warned residents to favor locally sourced fruits and vegetables after a sharp rise in cyclosporiasis cases. Between May 1st and July 21st, health officials recorded 140 infections compared with just 40 cases during the same interval last year. The parasite, typically transmitted through contaminated fresh produce, can cause prolonged diarrhea and abdominal cramps, prompting concerns for families and food service workers. Officials explained that domestic farms adhere to stricter irrigation and handling standards, reducing the risk of contamination. While the outbreak remains under investigation, the advisory encourages shoppers to check labels and seek produce grown within the province. Local grocery chains have begun highlighting Quebec-grown items on their shelves, hoping the visibility will steer consumers toward safer choices. Health authorities continue to monitor the situation and advise anyone experiencing symptoms to seek medical attention promptly.
Now let's get a look at your night forecast with our meteorologist, staying ahead of the weather.
A low-pressure trough nudging higher fuels tonight's lingering fog, while while the jet stream sets up tomorrow's dry spell. On this date, Montreal's thermometer once climbed to 31.4 degrees in 2025, a blistering peak that arrived during an unprecedented heat wave across the province. The cold counterpart fell to 13.9 degrees in 2017, a sharp dip that followed a lingering Arctic front. By contrast, today's climate normals sit near 22 degrees for the high and 19 for the low, underscoring how today's mild 24-degree high sits comfortably between those extremes. Right now, the radar loop shows a thin band of rain-laden clouds drifting eastward across the South Shore, peaking around 10 p.m. and fading by 11. The Echo is moving at roughly 20 kilometers per hour, steered by the southwest jet that sits at 5,700 meters. By the time the band clears, Montreal will sit under clear skies with the fog beginning to lift. At 11 p.m. the city sits in light fog, temperature 21 degrees, humidity 96%, and a low-pressure system that is slowly rising. The jet stream overhead blows at 61 kilometers per hour from the southwest, providing the upper-level push that will usher in drier, more stable air through the night. Winds are light, 3 kilometers per hour from the southwest with gusts up to 15 kilometers per hour from the south, so feels calm. UV index 3 remains low as night deepens. A severe thunderstorm watch blankets the island and surrounding municipalities, and rainfall warnings persist for Rawdon and St. Adèle, so remain alert to rapid downpours despite the current calm. Conditions will remain dry through the early morning, with the fog lifting as the high pressure builds. Wednesday brings a high of 24 degrees and a low of 18, overcast skies, and a 50% chance of rain as a weak frontal boundary slides in. Thursday clears dramatically, high 26 degrees, low 18, clear skies as the jet stream arches northward and high pressure dominates. Friday stays mainly clear with a high of 27 degrees, low 18, and only a 20% chance of rain as lingering sunshine fades. Saturday returns to overcast conditions, high 27 degrees, low 20, as a shallow low drifts eastward, bringing cloud cover. Sunday ends the stretch with overcast skies, high 24 degrees, low 19, and a 50% rain chance as the next trough approaches. The pattern swings between dry, sunny intervals and brief, cloudy periods, offering a textbook view of summer's push-pull between the jet stream and surface lows. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's moving smoothly downtown. Today's Chamber Spotlight highlights business growth, and our Canadians are in season with the trade. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Montreal hockey moving fast on both sides of the puck this summer. The Canadiens have reshuffled their forward depth, sending Sean Farrell to Anaheim in exchange for 23-year-old Sasha Pastujov. Both players are restricted free agents, so Montreal still controls the negotiation. The Canadiens are betting Pastujov, a former third-round pick, has more upside to unlock than what Farrell offered on this roster. Juraj Slavkovsky is drawing all-star attention before the season even begins. NHL.com has him projected for Team World at the 2027 All-Star Game, and after back-to-back Olympic tournaments where he announced himself on the world stage, that recognition is earned. The expectation bar in Montreal keeps climbing. The Montreal Victoire are building something serious on the forward lines. They have signed 36-year-old Michelle Carvinen to a one-year standard player agreement. Carvinen was a first-round pick by Vancouver, and that pedigree matters. A player with her experience sharpens a young group and raises the compete level every single practice.
On St. Laurent Boulevard, just beyond the bustling cafes, families gathered as clouds rolled in, turning the sky a deep slate. The city's weather service issued a severe thunderstorm watch, warning of heavy rain and flash flooding, but the neighborhood turned the forecast into a moment of togetherness. Children splashed in the first puddles while their parents set up tarps over market stalls, and a group of volunteers from the local community center handed out bright rain ponchos to anyone passing by. At the corner bakery, owner Marie Claude opened her doors, offering warm croissants and hot chocolate to strangers huddled under the awning, the scent of butter mingling with the fresh scent of rain. When a sudden rush of water threatened the nearby bike lane, a handful of cyclists formed a human chain, guiding cyclists safely to higher ground. The simple acts of sharing a drink, lending a hand, and laughing under the storm reminded everyone that Montreal's heart beats strongest when the weather turns gray. We'll weather this together, just as we always have.
On a crisp Saturday morning along the Canal de Lachine, the mist still clinging to the water, a small crowd gathers beneath the old railway trestle. A mix of retirees in weather jackets, a teenage girl with a bright orange rod, and a family from the plateau spread a faded blanket beside the railing. The scent of fresh coffee mingles with the river's earthy perfume as they cast lines into the slow-moving St. Lawrence current. Among them, a retired schoolteacher named Marie pauses to show her grandson how to unhook a silvery pickerel, her hands steady despite the chill. The boy watches the fish's flash of scales, then with a gentle nod releases it back into the river, its tail flicking a brief arc before disappearing downstream. A few meters away, a local artist sketches the scene, capturing the quiet camaraderie in charcoal strokes. What began as a casual pastime has become a modest revival of community stewardship, drawing neighbors together over shared patience and the simple thrill of a tug on the line. It's a quiet testament that the city's waterways belong to everyone.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. Today's highlight was the Prime Video deal bringing Wednesday Canadiens games straight to your screens. Stay tuned for more stories tomorrow, whether it's city updates or provincial news. We'll see you back at the wrap at 6. Good night and stay safe.